All right, what's going on, everybody? Hope you're having a fantastic day out there today. For today's video, I thought I would go ahead and talk to you guys about one of my favorite brands. Of course, that's the Mopar brand and my favorite Mopar muscle cars. So this is gonna be the top 10 list of favorite Mopar muscle cars from back in the day, and cars that I have just grown to love over the decades of time I've spent in the Mopar community. So let's go ahead and just jump right into this list. And number 10 on that list has to be the 1971 Plymouth Duster. And what I really love about this car is the fact that it's a really understated car. It's the small A-body platform, and you get some great options on it, like the shark tooth grille gives it a really aggressive look, twin hood scoops. You get the 340 Magnum in it with 4-speed. There's a lot of great options, and it's a real tire shredder that you really wouldn't think about because it's such a small, tiny car. But it's such a cool car, and being in 1971, you could get it in all the high impact colors. So you can get like your plum crazy purple, your sublime greens, your curious yellows. You can get some great colors, great options. And so that's why that car comes in at number 10 on my list of top 10 Mopars. All right, so number 9 on my list is the first B-body on the list is the 1968 Dodge Charger. And this car is such an iconic design. It's the first year for the Coke bottle Dodge Charger, and it's just a great looking car. It's made real famous by the movie Bullitt, with that chase scene with Steve McQueen and his Mustang, and the bad guys driving around in their 68 Charger, and you know it gets serious when they put their seatbelts on and just take off. And the car just looks great in a multitude of colors, especially black like in the movie Bullitt. And it had a variety of engine options all the way up to the Elephant, the 426 Hemi, and it's just a great looking Mopar and definitely one of my favorites. So going there, number 8 on my list, we're going back into the A-bodies, and we're talking about the 1970 Dodge Dart Swinger 340. And it's another great little car. It's got the high output 340 with, you can get it with a 4-speed or an automatic, and it's just a great looking car. I mean, growing up, I ended up buying a 1970 Dodge Dart and I loved it. It's a fun car, small car. You can get some good power out of them, have a lot of fun doing it. And then of course, being an A-body, you're not necessarily gonna break the bank when you go out to buy one or build one and restore it. So it's a great car, a great value, and a lot of fun to drive. So it comes in at number 8 on my list. So number 7 on my list has to be the 1970 Dodge Superbird. Now this is one of those body styles that a lot of people don't care for. It's definitely a love it or hate it kind of look on this car. And personally, I love it. I think it's a great design. And again, because it's 1970, you can get all the high impact colors you want on it, and you can get various options. You get the Ram Charger hood in it with the dual hood scoops. You can get the 4-speed, and being 1970 is the first year of the pistol grip. And it just is a great car. And of course, you can get it in the base Coronet, the Coronet RT, and things like that. But the Super B with those B logos, that's where it's at for me for that car. And it's just a great car. So going from there, we're gonna go ahead and jump into number 6 on my list, and we're gonna go over to the Plymouth side of the house and the 1969 A12 Roadrunner. So if you're not familiar, the A12 was a package code that you found on your fender tags. They had it for both the 69 Roadrunner and the 69 Super B, but the Roadrunner is definitely for me for this model, and it's the option package for the A12 was a 446 pack with a lift-off fiberglass hood. This car's sole purpose was quarter-mile drag racing. You've got a lightweight fiberglass hood from the factory. You've got their 446 pack engine that makes 390 horsepower, and you back it with a 4-speed manual transmission, and the car looks aggressive, and it just tears it up at the drag strip. And it's the heyday of Mopar, just all power and just all go. And so that just really screams Mopar for me, and so that's why it comes in on my list. So going from there, we're gonna do another Roadrunner. So number 5 on my list is the Plymouth Superbird. So this car is such a unique design, and it was such a goofy looking car as well, and the car was built solely for NASCAR racing. And the predecessor to that was the 69 Charger Daytona, And the reason why they made the Plymouth Superbird was because at the time Richard Petty was driving for Plymouth and he wanted one of these big wing cars, and Chrysler wasn't having it. They were just doing the Dodge Daytona. And so Richard Petty said, fine, I'm gonna go and race for Ford then. And so Plymouth came back and said, whoa, come on back. And they built the Superbird. Now, what was really amazing about these cars was being built for NASCAR, they had these long pointy noses and these huge 3-foot wings on the back that were totally functional. And as a result, these were the first cars to hit 200 miles an hour at NASCAR. The car was insane. I just dominated the races. No wonder Richard Petty wanted one. And as a result, they ended up having to make a production car so that way they could be homologated so they could actually race them in NASCAR. And because of how dominant these cars were at the track, NASCAR changed the rules, and in '71 they got rid of all these winged cars. You couldn't run them anymore. But they made for great cars you see on the street. I mean, sure, you see a Roadrunner or Charger back in the day, it just looked like a normal car going down the street. But you saw a Superbird with this pointy nose and a huge wing on the back with the Looney Tunes Roadrunner on the side of it. That was just amazing. And of course you came in the high impact colors like all the Mopars did, and so you get these wild colors on this wild design of a car. What's not to love? Well, apparently not very many people thought it was a great car, and they sat on the lots and they were a hard sell. And a lot of them ended up getting converted, had the front ends changed and the rear spoilers changed to make it look like normal cars so they could actually sell them. But today, it's one of the most coveted Mopars of all time, and the prices reflect it. It's not uncommon to see these cars fetching $250,000 plus because of how unique they are and how rare they are. And the base model of a 440 for the Superbird was the 440 Commando 4-barrel engine. And then you had two engine options, the 440 6-pack or the 426 Hemi. So you were gonna get at least a 440 on any of these cars that you bought. And it's just a really, really cool car. So from there, we're going into number 4 on my list, and that has to be the 1970 Hemi Cuda. And the car is the first E-body production year, and the 70 Cuda just looks amazing. It's a clean design, super elegant looking, it's pure muscle, and having the Hemi with the shaker hood is just right there. It is just really, really beautiful, well done. And for me, of all the colors, I'd probably say that B5 blue has to be my favorite on the 70 Hemi Cuda. What's not to love about the Hemi Cudas in general? But 1970 would be the first year for the E-body with the Hemi, shaker, pistol grip 4-speed, hockey stick stripes down the side. It's just a winning combination that you can't go wrong with. So from there, number 3 on my list, this is a super rare car and is really an amazing car, and it's the 1968 Dodge Hemi Dart. So they only made like 50 of these in 1968, and they were strictly built for drag racing. And what happened was Dodge took these cars, they slapped a 426 Hemi in it, and either a 727 torque flight or a manual 4-speed, and they sent them over to Hertz, and they went ahead and put fiberglass front ends on them, lighten the cars up. They put Lexan side windows in. They removed the roll-up mechanism altogether and just used seatbelt material to pull the windows up and down. They got rid of the stock seats. They put A100 van seats in them that didn't fold. And then instead of adjustable seat brackets, they had sheet aluminum seat brackets that had holes drilled in them to save weight. Back seats were gone. No outside mirrors. They had a mirror delete on them. Heater delete. These cars were pure race cars. They also flared the rear wheel wells, had Dana 60 rear axles, and the car was all business. And they just dominated NHRA, so much so that NHRA had to keep throwing all these new safety regulations on them, adding more weight and stuff to try and slow them down. But every time they go and put new rules on them, the cars just kept going faster. So these cars, even to this day, have their own class in drag racing, and they go around and are racing these cars with their Hemis in them. And these cars are just unreal, and they're running like 8 second quarter miles now. I think when they were brand new, they were running like probably a 10 flat, maybe a high 9, and just over the years they just keep getting faster and faster, and it's just really incredible to see these cars just tearing it up all these years later. And so that's why that car comes in at number 3 on my list, and it's just an amazing car, and it's really unique, and truly really is the iconic car that screams what Mopar was in the day. All go, all about business, just getting it done, tearing it up on the street, and having a great time doing it. And I remember when I was younger watching this show called American Muscle Car, and they had a special on the Hemi Dart on there, and they said that if you put a car guy in the passenger seat of one of these cars, you're gonna scare him. But if you put someone who's not a car person into one of these cars, you're probably gonna hurt him just because of how much power and how fast these cars were. And I truly believe that. I mean, the cars are an absolute monster, and it's just really awesome when I see one at an event or at a drag event and seeing them actually running these cars the way they were meant to be driven, and it's really cool. So number 2 on my list, we're going back into the E-bodies, and this has to be the 1970 Dodge Challenger TA in B5 blue with blue interior and the pistol grip 4-speed. It's something I've kind of modeled my 72 Challenger after, is a TA model, blue. Now I've got the black interior, of course, but the 1970 TA Challenger with the 346 pack, pistol grip 4-speed, blue with blue interior, it's just a beautiful car, and it's definitely one of my favorite cars. Whenever I go into an event and I see one there, I just love it. And any TA Challenger is a great car, but if it's going to be in B5 blue, that's where it's at for me. I just love that car, and one day hopefully I'll get a factory 346 pack TA B5 blue with blue interior Challenger. So from there, now if you stuck around this long, we've now reached number 1 on my list of top 10 Mopars. This one is the granddaddy of them all. This is what really got me started with the Mopars in the first place, and that's the 1971 Hemi Cuda convertible. I'm growing up watching Nash Bridges and him cruising around the streets of San Francisco with a 71 Hemi Cuda convertible. That's what got me hooked on Mopars in the first place. That's what I wanted to be my first car. I ended up getting the Challenger instead because if you've seen some of my other videos, you know that even back then in the 90s, a 71 Barracuda convertible was just crazy expensive, and I picked this one up from my neighbor for $100. So I love my Challenger. I wouldn't trade it for the world, but the number 1 top dog for the classic Mopars for me has been and always will be a 1971 Hemi Cuda convertible. It just really screams Mopar. There's a reason they are the most expensive Mopars on the planet, trading between like $3 and $5 million. They only made 11 of them, a handful of automatics, handful of 4-speeds, and it's just an amazing car. And it's something I've always loved. Those Guild fenders, the shark tooth grille, the shaker hood, the pistol grip 4-speed, just everything about that car I love. And one day I'll also have a 71 Hemi Cuda convertible, probably a clone car, dropping $3 to $5 million on an original one. I don't see happening anytime soon, but building a clone, definitely in the cards in the future. So I hope you found this video entertaining and informational. As always, if you did, smash that like button, give us a thumbs up. What classic Mopars are your favorites? Which ones do you love? Go ahead and put those in the comment section below, because I read all of your comments and definitely interested in what your guys' thoughts are. And as always, if you want to be kept up to date on my future uploads, don't forget to smash that subscribe button down below and ring that notification bell as well, so that way YouTube will notify you of all of the videos I do in the future. And as always, guys, I will see you the next video.